Hi everybody, welcome back to My Slice of Heaven. I'm Kris, and today I am going to do something, or attempt to do something, I've never done before. I am going to try to can some carrots. I have never canned anything before, but I've watched several videos of other people doing it, and you all make it look so simple. So, I think it was actually about 2 years ago, Joey and the kids got me some water bath canning equipment, as well as some books. And I was reading through the books and looking at everything, and I had apples and carrots and potatoes to can, and those all required a pressure canner, which we didn't have. And the stores back in 2020 were totally out of. So I had the water bath canning equipment and didn't do anything with it. And then it was kind of a mess in 2020 and 2021. Late 2021, I think it was actually maybe Christmas, I got a pressure canner. So here it is now, summer of 2022, and I am ready to try pressure canning. I am going to use this book here, the Canning and Preserving for Beginners. I've been given several books, but this one has very basic recipes: how to can carrots, how to can green beans, how to can potatoes. It also has some fancier ones, salsa and jams and things like that. But some of the other books I have don't tell you how to do the basics, just the carrots. And I want to start with something simple. I'm starting with carrots. So follow along and we will see if I'm able to figure it out through the videos I've watched, as well as the techniques given in the books. Since this is my first time using the pressure canner, I've taken it out of the box, washed all the pieces, and I am reading the booklet that came with it. And there's a part here in the book that says, before canning for the first time, familiarize yourself with how it works. So it says to just put in some water and vinegar, tells you how much. Put the lid on, which took me like 4 or 5 minutes to figure out how to put the lid back on it, because you got to get it on just right, obviously, or it won't contain that pressure for you. Put the right valve on the top, because it comes with 3 different valves for different things. Then heat it up so you can, again, familiarize yourself with how it acts when it gets heated, when it's releasing the steam and such. So that's what I'm doing now. I got the heat on high with nothing but the water and vinegar in the pressure canner. So far I've seen puffs of steam, and it's starting to make a little bit of a steamy noise, but it doesn't count until it's full steam. So I'm not supposed to close it yet, and you would start your timer on your pressure cooking until it's full steam. So hopefully I'll learn what that looks like here soon. Well, it's a good thing I'm doing this test, because I didn't put it together right. The round knobby on top, I didn't push it down all the way. And you're supposed to push it down all the way before you start the heat. Can't touch it now, so I just turned the heat off and gotta let it cool all the way down. So, it's a good thing, like I said, I tested it first. You can ignore the smoke alarm. Nothing's on fire. There's just something underneath the burner. I know how to cook, I really do. All right, while we're waiting for the pressure canner to be ready for us, we're going to get everything else we need to pressure can the carrots today. So what all that entails is, of course, we have the pressure canner. Back here we have my water bath canner. In the 2 books I have, one says you need to sterilize your pint jars. One says you don't need to sterilize the pint jars. I don't know if I need to or not, but I figured it's not going to hurt if I do it if I don't. So I'm going to sterilize the pint jars. So you wash them up and then you sterilize them. So I have that pot out. Back behind the pressure canner, can't see it because the pressure canner's so big, is a third pot, what used to be our largest pot, the one we make our stew and chili in. It will be for boiling the water to add to the jars of carrots. And here in the front, we have a small pot ready, and that will be for simmering the bands and lids so they are ready to put on the jars of carrots. Not turning any of them on yet, it is way too early, but I have all of them out and ready for when it is time. Some other items we are going to need are the items in this utensil box. A jar funnel, not 100% necessary, but I've seen most of you all who can use it. Keeps you for when you are adding things to your jar from spilling quite so much all over your counters. The jar lifter is necessary because when you're putting the jars in the pressure canner, the water will already be hot. So you use the jar lifter to put your jars in or out of the hot water. You will need something like a bubble remover. Some people just use a butter knife, but the kit came with the bubble remover. It also measures your head space, how much space above your liquid that is just air. And a magnetic lid lifter. When you take the lids out of your water, you don't really want to be touching them because then you're adding whatever germs are on your hand. So you use the magnetic lid lifter to put it on your jar. So need to wash all those up and get those ready to go. Also going to need several towels to wipe off the edges and rims of the jars. So I need to get those prepared, as well as, of course, I actually have to get the food ready for the jar. For the carrots, again, I am using the Canning and Preserving for Beginners book. And for the carrots, I'm going to need 11 pounds of fresh carrots. It says you can use them whole, but when we go to actually put them in any of our recipes, we're going to want them sliced. So I'm going to go ahead and slice them. I'm pretty slow at slicing carrots, so I'm going to get that going before I start boiling all this water and everything, because I have no idea how long it's going to take me to peel and slice 11 pounds of carrots. I'm also going to need some pickling salt, 4.5 teaspoons, so not a whole lot compared to 11 pounds of carrots. So while the cans will have some salt in it, it's not going to be a lot. And it should make 9 pint jars worth of carrots. So I'm going to be washing these things up and cutting up the carrots while the pressure canner is still cooling from my mishap. All right, I think I have everything prepared. I have all of my carrots sliced up. Says to do that while all this is going, but like I said, I slice carrots way too slow. So I am preparing my jars in the back here. I have washed them all in warm soapy water, and now I am heating them to a boil. Once they reach a boil, I will reduce it to low and simmer them until I'm ready to use them. I don't have to boil them for like 5 minutes or whatever, just bring them to a boil and then keep them hot until I'm ready to use them. I have my canner here with 2 to 3 inches of water at the bottom, little bit of vinegar in there as well to keep the aluminum and the cans from the jars, from discoloring. And I'm bringing that to a boil over high heat. In the back there, you can't see it, I have a large pot with water I'm bringing to a boil. That's going to be the water that I add to the glass jars of carrots. And up front on low heat here, I have the bands and the lids to simmer until I am ready for them. I am going to do the raw pack method, so I don't need to cook the carrots or anything. I've just sliced them all up. Now I had 2 grocery bags full of carrots. I thought for sure I was going to have no problem having my 11 pounds of carrots. But when I actually weighed them, I had 5.5, 6 pounds of carrots. So I am heating up 9 pint jars and 9 rings and 9 lids, but I'm expecting I'll probably only use half that much since I only have half that many carrots. But having never done this before, I figured might as well go all out and do all 9. So once everything boils, I will start filling the jars with the carrots. Alright, my 3 big pots are all boiling. My little pot is just starting to simmer, and I have several minutes before I'm going to be ready for the lids and the rims. So I'm going to take the jars out of the boiling water, and I'm going to put them over on my counter over there so I can fill them with the carrots. So hopefully I don't make a big mess. I will be using my jar lifters here. Carefully grab one of the jars. Pour all the water out of it. A little bit left, I'll just pour that into the sink. And place the first jar on the cutting board. Alright, I'm going to do that for the remaining 8 jars. The next thing I do is I put all these carrots, whew, maybe tongs aren't the best choice here, put all these carrots into these jars. It says because these are the raw carrots, the cold packed method, I need to push these down into the jar. Whereas if I used the hot pack method, I would not push them down into the jar. Let's see if this thing will help. I know it helps a lot of you with your liquid choices. Oh, so much easier. Couple things here. I'm sure you've noticed I don't know how to count to 9. I only prepared 8 canning jars. But you'll also see all 8 of them are full and I still have all these carrots left. So my recipe that told me it would fill 9 with twice as many carrots as I had seems to have been a little off. So I'm going to stick with my 8 and I guess we're having carrots with dinner tonight. Next we're going to pour in the boiling water. Because it's boiling water, and because I'm in a tight corner, I am going to move the camera and hopefully you can still see. I got my pot of boiling water back here. If there is a better way to do this, please let me know. And I'm going to fill all of the jars with the boiling water, and then I will check the air bubbles and the headspace. just noticed the recipe said I was supposed to leave a full inch of headspace when I put in the carrots, which I did not do, and then a ½ inch with the water. So I guess I need to take out a few of these carrots to get me that 1 inch headspace on the carrots. One more carrot. That'll do. But we're definitely going to need some more water in there. Probably want this at the ½ inch mark. There we go. We're almost there. We are now putting in a ½ teaspoon of pickling salt in each jar. The recipe does say you can adjust it, but this is my first time. I'm going to make it just like it says, or as close to it as I can. Next on the list is to use a rubber spatula. I believe that's what the other end of our headspace measurer is for, to make sure we get all of the air bubbles out of the jar. Oh, saw a little bubble go up on that one. Because when you're boiling it in the pressure canner, those air bubbles will expand and will cause it not to seal properly or something like that. We are almost there. Next, we wipe with a clean, dry towel. Some places said to wipe the, what is that called? The area where the screw part is, and some just said to do the top part. Move to a clean, dry spot of my towel. So I'm going to do both because I don't know any better. Those of you who have canned before, please give me pointers in the comments on any and all of what you see me doing today. It's time now to put the lids and the bands on. So I have my magnet thing to get my lids out. I was not careful to put them all in facing the correct way. I guess I can touch this part. And you screw it on fingertip tight. Because it needs to be able to let anything escape while it is boiling. We are finally ready to put all of these into the pressure canner. Now apparently some pressure canners come with a rack. This one does not. It has been boiling for a while, so I did check to make sure it still has 2 to 3 inches of water in it. And it does, so we're good there. And the jars are allowed to touch, depending on how many you're putting in here. They might end up touching each other. And that is okay. I have 8 pint-size jars filled with carrots in my pressure canner. Now it's time to put the lid on. What I didn't understand before, but I think I have now, is when you first put everything in the pressure cooker, you do not put the weight on it. This is just a weighted pressure canner, so my choices were 10 or 15. I'm supposed to put it at 11, so we use the higher number of 15. We need to let the steam build up. After the steam comes through the steam vent in the middle for 10 minutes, then we put the weight on it and set it for the timer. Carrots is 25 minutes. Don't know how well this is showing up in the video, but you can see some steam hitting the microwave. That looks to me like a steady stream of steam. So I say we're ready to start counting our 10 minutes before we put our weight on. The timer has gone off. It is now time to put our weight on here. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to use the pot holder. Put it on top, push it down. And set the timer now. Carrots is 25 minutes. Well, I think I messed up. Nothing can't be fixed. But I don't think I was supposed to start that timer when I did. See how the weight is starting to steam and spin around? I think I was supposed to wait till that happened before I started the timer. So I'm going to start the timer over. The timer's gone off, so I'm turning off the burner and I'm moving the pressure canner to one of the burners that is turned off. I am not trying to open the pressure canner. You let it cool down on its own. Again, do not try to open the pressure canner while it is still pressurized. You will damage the pressure cooker, damage yourself, all sorts of bad things. I'm guessing it's going to probably be an hour, probably a long time. We gotta let it cool down. Can you hear all that popping and sizzling? It has been about 15 minutes and the pressure canner is still making all that noise. So I guess that is one way to tell when the pressure has been relieved. It will stop making all that noise. It has been way longer than it needed to be to cool, to release the pressure from the canner. We had dinner and everything and then cleaned up after dinner. But I'm still going to follow the safety procedures because I'm just not sure how this works. It says you take a fork to pop the weight off. Maybe my fork doesn't have wide enough tines though. Just pulled right off. The pot is still hot when I touch it. No steam's released. Tilting it away from me when I lift it. There is still a little bit of steam coming out. I'm pausing because I see carrots in one of my jars is on the side. So it looks like one of my jars either spilled or broke. But the other 7 jars look just fine. I'm supposed to take them out and set them someplace where they will not be disturbed for 24 hours. And my kitchen is not that place. We do not have much counter space here. So it's going to have to sit on a bench out in the family room, which is dark right now. So I can't film it. So I will take these out. One at a time and carefully carry them into the other room. And I will show you in the morning what they look like. So I've taken the other 7 cans out. This is the one left. You can see the carrots are all over the bottom of the canner. The jar looks fine, but as I'm doing this, I don't know if you can see it, but the very bottom of the jar broke off. So I have a jar now with no bottom. There we go. Now I can lift it out. If anyone has any idea what happened there, I would be interested to know if that sometimes just happens, or if I did something wrong, or any ways to prevent that from happening in the future. And yes, I will be throwing away all of these carrots. And obviously not using that jar. I'm assuming I can't use that lid again either. It is the next morning. Here are my lovely jars. 7 jars of carrots. Some of them I noticed have a decent amount of liquid space here on the bottom, whereas some of them are fully packed. I guess some of them I pushed down harder on than others. But they will continue to sit here undisturbed until this evening. It has been over 24 hours, so you remove the rings next. They actually don't even have to be stored with the rings on them. And you check that you can't pop them up and the lids don't come off. These seem to be sealed well. So these 3 are good. And I will check the rest of them. Well, everyone, I hope that if you're new to canning, you learned something new about how to can. And if you're experienced in canning, I hope you can give me some pointers on how I can do better in the future. I know I certainly learned a lot. I do hope you stay tuned. I hope to have another video coming out shortly with canning some potatoes, as well as some of the things that I've learned through canning the carrots and potatoes, so that hopefully I can be even better, and maybe some tips and pointers to help others as well. Thanks everyone for following along. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, but you just like me, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.